Hey, this is Thunder Hands. Well, I dispensed with the little intro today but I want you to know this is the Campfire Council and Thunder Hands. I want to talk about the bitter and the sweet, the yin and the yang. And my videos, once the flow gets going, anything could come through. I ask Spirit to come through me and talk about things that need to be talked about. And so it could concern the yin and the yang, the bitter and the sweet. I think I'll start off by talking about the community, this campfire council that I already have going. In my mind, it's already going, and it has been going with several people. So it just needs to expand. And I wanted to talk more about that feeling of the campfire because I really like that. I mean, it's such a great feeling to sit by a campfire in the wilderness, away from everything, with friends and mentors or elders or whatever, and just enjoy each other. Because it seems like when you're in nature, the games stop, because then you're next to that. You're almost in realization that, if anything happened, that you're dependent on that other person to help you and you them. You can't go out into the wilderness and not have a tracking buddy or whatever. It's better to go in twos, okay, so that somebody's always covering your back. But I love that feeling of being next to the campfire and hear that crackling and the flames licking back and forth on the wood. It's spiritual, very spiritual. It's energy. It's nature. It's where everybody should be. And you laugh, you might talk about something and laugh about it. Humor's good. It's not usually so serious when you got that nature thing going. You get more into a contemplative mode. And then if you have that, like say somewhere out in a community, let's say the Four Corners area, maybe northern Arizona, pine trees, little bit of snow in the winter, nothing big deal, no big deal. In the summer you have the monsoons, you're out in the nature. That's really where I'd like to find some land or some more connections so that we can. And the more people that put their thoughts out towards this and really think about getting out of the city, okay, and getting away from certain areas that I have found through my research to be prone to disaster coming our way to a theater near you. Now here, see, this is the bitter, see? I started off with the sweet, which is thinking about the good things, but the bitter is why we have to do that. Why we have to think about getting out of the cities and working together and starting small communities like what I propose. Okay, because I don't want my community to be like a city. That's what I'm trying to get out of. Your community is like maybe 10 people, 3 to 10 people, 4 to 10 people, 4 people, 8 people, 6 people, kindred people that are, but that doesn't mean once you get that community going that you can't have people come in and visit and stay and glean some of the spiritual vibe, okay, and the energy that you will have gained by being out in a place that's more pristine, away from the city, place where you can grow things, have animals, put up windmill machines, solar panels, become totally self-sufficient as a community, cut off from the grid up here and physically. Now, is this a dream that's, unattainable? No, definitely not. It's absolutely attainable. It's just about working together. Now, we don't want to grasp and we don't want to push and we don't want to make it so intense that we drive that dream away. We just want to picture it like I review my every video on here starting with the 3-4 videos ago, because it's all about this campfire council thought, how we change things. And I'm getting more and more clarity on it. That's how it should be for mankind, the tribal thing. Get away from control of the government, because you know what? I mean, I read stuff, I shouldn't even go on the computer because I have my intelligence space, my intel, and then I have other sources of intel, and I find out things, and it's like, like I was reading a thing today, and I've touched on this on the mind control. Here comes some more bitter, some more, and bitter in the Yin Yang sign is associated with the dark side, okay? But within the dark side, there's always this little dot of white, okay? And within the white side, there's always this little dot of dark. So that appears everywhere, just like within me, there's a yin side, which is a female side, which could be from my mother or from the Mother Earth or anywhere, but predominantly yang or male, okay? And so that's the way it is in all things. Okay, everything has, the world swirls around in this yin yang bittersweet illusion, because we're inside this picture. Duality is kind of like a bubble. I think people get off on illustrations through stories. Okay, they understand better. So picture yourself like in this bubble, okay, and this bubble is like a swirling mass of chaotic energy almost, and we're in it, okay, and it's called life. It's called the duality. It's called the yin and yang of the great mystery permeating into our experience. Deep, huh? And outside this bubble, okay, above it or outside of it or whatever, is the duality does not exist. This motion of commotion does not exist. So right and wrong don't exist. None of that stuff exists. It's all pure, clear water outside this bubble. This bubble's kind of contaminated. Okay, outside the bubble in the ocean is the clear, clear Ancient of Ancients, higher spirit, the Kichi Manatu in the Ojibwe. Call it the Kichi Manatu, the creator, the great mystery. And now, even though that we're in this bubble, we can extend feelers, which is our higher self, and we have all these bodies that, we have the etheric body, the physical body, it keeps on going up and up until you pierce that bubble and you get to this clear ancient of ancients consciousness. And that's where you have to try to live so that you have more control over what's going on. You're still in the bubble, but hey, your head might even rise out of this bubble and wow, here I am, and then boom, you're back down. So it's called ascending and descending in consciousness. Ascending, excuse me, hit my little microphone there because my gestures get erratic. Ascending and descending spiritually. And this can happen physically, it can happen, there's no limit to what can happen. And so this is the kind of consciousness you have to have in this reality, because this reality is an illusion. So when I talk about the bitter in this reality, then I'm talking about the illusion too. I'm talking about it's not real. It's like the government's not real. They think they're real. They're real idiots, Little bit of humor there. Or maybe it isn't humor. Maybe it's truth. Truth can be humorous sometimes. Truth can be any kind of thing that you want it to be. It can be sacred and profane and bitter and sweet. See, because we live in the duality. So that's why we shouldn't get so hung up on things that we do that, oh, that's so bad. God, what am I going to do? I can never forgive myself. I mean, that's just your yin side. That's what you say, And if you don't like it, you go, get behind me. Like in the Bible, get behind me, Satan. Well, Satan is a thought, okay? It's a negative thought. You just get behind me or delete or, oh yeah, I see you rolling on down the river. That thought, let it go, roll on down the river. I'm trying to watch the time here because people say, oh, your videos are a little long. Well, no, not too many people, but what better form of entertainment could you have than some guy named Thunder sitting here letting spirit channel right out through you and talk to you about truth and things that are going to help you. You might even get to like my physical presence and hopefully you will. I try to. Some people say I don't smile enough either. Well, I'm trying. Uh, let's just leave it at that. But I'm trying to get more happy. I'll get happy when I see people waking up, interacting with me like they should be, sending me emails, saying hi, you know, saying, hey, I'm interested in what this concept that you have about this community of this campfire council. I do need to get out of this. See, that's where all the problems are, is with technology and cities and all of that stuff. Because, okay, now here's something really dark. Okay, get ready. And I've talked about this before. I was going to talk about it earlier, but I got off on a tangent here. I jump around because I let spirit flow through me. But they're doing weird stuff on the internet. And I started to talk about mind control a little earlier, and like I said, but whatever I said had something to do with that. It was just an offshoot thought. Okay. Okay, now here it is, mind control, right? Mind control is done the government started on this stuff years and years and years ago. I mean, even in World War II, they had propaganda, and the soldiers would be in the foxholes and the opposite side would be blaring stuff like, you should be at home because your wife or girlfriend is making it with your best friend right now, and made the soldiers want to go home and not fight, you know. So this propaganda stuff started long, long time ago, even before that, okay? Brainwashing, propaganda, manipulation, uh, psychological warfare, psych ops 101, black psych ops. I mean, we get really deep. So I read this thing today, which didn't surprise me, about all the subliminal behind the scenes stuff that's going on the internet with these hackers, these government hackers and corporate hackers and all this stuff that's going on, about how they do things, how they commit psychological warfare on the internet, okay? And it's like, why would that surprise anybody? I mean, even the TV commercials, that's why I don't watch TV. Even when the drug commercials come on and they go, this is for your hay fever or whatever, but the side effects could, and then when they get to the side effects, they speed up real fast. It could, you know, could, could affect you, could kill you, fatal. All this stuff goes along with the commercial about this stuff for your hay fever. Okay, so that's a form of subliminal, because they put the other stuff real quick so that you don't have time to think about it. It just goes into your head. It's a disclaimer, or maybe it's planting stuff in your head about when you take this is, this is what you're going to get. It's insidious. Okay, and then there's another thing, like when you're on YouTube or Facebook or anything like that, and you're talking about a certain discussion that's important to you, that you think is truthful or whatever, they'll have spies come in. People that act like other people that are just normal people. Hi, I'm on your friends list. And they'll even act like they're your friend, but they'll be a spy. They'll be a government agent. They'll be a CIA black ops person, or somebody that at least thinks they are, to come in and just create havoc into what you're saying or doing, or they could even say something bad about you, spread disinfo about you, get people to turn against you if they don't like what you're doing. Or short of that, they could censor the stuff. The people that control say, nope, this is going to wake too many people up, or this is not a good thing because this will give us less control over the people. So that's why some people's videos get 4,000, because it fits in with the agenda. Whether these people say they're truthers or not, it fits in with the government agenda somehow, or they wouldn't let them out there that much. I think it's kind of a compliment sometimes when I don't get as many views as I get on my videos, because then that just proof to me that I'm telling the truth, and they're like stopping it or trying to stop it. So, but on the other hand, then I'm not getting out there. Okay? And you can't get out there unless that's another reason I ask for donations sometimes, is because it takes money to make money. That's an old saying. And you can't get out there unless you have a little bit of prosperity going for you. Then you can bypass certain certain people and certain things. You buy your way out there. I mean, it's horrible. That's the only way you can get your message out. But then I don't want to make it horrible, because maybe it's time for prosperity to move into my consciousness, because I have the wisdom about money. I know how it works. If I don't have a lot of it, then that's because, you know, of a belief system in there that I can't let go of, like, the spirituality and the money thing. That's a big one. But I'm realizing that money wisdom takes you to a point where you feel you're worthy of having, it doesn't necessarily have to do with money, it just has to do with receiving goodness in any form. And if it comes in the form of money and you don't particularly like that form, you can change it. You can take that money and make it into goodness. See, that's something I got to realize. I have a hard time with sometimes. But this thing with the manipulation, the psychological manipulation, is another reason, is a big reason why you have to detach and get out into nature, and let's do this campfire council thing. I'm going to keep harping on it over and over and over. At least it'll get into people's heads that they need to get out of the city. Whether this manifests for me on a personal level with other people is irrelevant. I'm putting that thought out there that that's where it's at, is having this campfire council, and people willing to give their resources, their assets, and share it with others and not be selfish. Because if you're really spiritual, that giving is an important part. Giving and receiving, that interaction. It's energy. Everything is energy. Everything. Not one thing is not energy. And so you just look at it that way, and use the energy for benevolent, good, positive purposes to get above that bubble I was talking about earlier, into the ozone out there with the you know the great mystery, okay, the Kichimanatu. So just on a level of connecting up, or trying to connect with other people, I have put some websites down here, and I'm finding, like, man, I got a lot of websites. So I'm building another website that is kind of going to be like the center, called Campfire Council, and then it's going to have links on there. Now pay attention to all my other resources, okay? And I'm going to try to simplify it a little bit, because people like things. I notice that some of my websites have a lot of stuff on there. They might get confused, so I'm like trying to simplify this down to where you just, if you want to donate, you hit that, or if you want to go to another page, you hit that, or if you want to see my books, you hit that. And I'll probably call it, Campfire Council, period. And you'll go on there and you'll see the same picture that you see on the show here of the people sitting around the campfire with the teepee in the background. So, and then there'll be email right out front in big letters. Everything that you need to do to get a hold of me. Now, I also have press kits, okay, from my book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart, which is international book that's won awards, which is Taoist and native philosophy. And, I'm getting more and more. I got a letter today about how well those two philosophies go together and how happy they are that they found somebody else that has those two philosophies. So basically, those two, the Native American Taoist philosophies, I mean, they go together like yin and, hand in glove, yin and yang. But I want to hook up with some people, and I'm really serious about the more people that we can get involved, and I'm just putting the thought out into the universe. Like, I want people of kindred thinking that are into areas that we need in the community, okay? And this could sometimes involve like younger college people or whatever. Anybody that has the skills, but we need a lawyer, okay? We need somebody that is, although I know a lot about the law and legalese, but it would be nice to have a legal team, form a legal team, or form enough people that are intellectual enough to work together to fill out the necessary papers. And then we need, you know, uh, people that have some resources, or people that know people that have some resources, to convince them that this is the way to go to get out of the cities, because you got too much going on in the cities. Okay, let's take the West Coast. Like, for example, today I heard a story, a news report that seemed credible to me, that they're discovering radiation in the waters up near Vancouver. I mean, now this is like fact. Before, it's been talked about, but now they did a study. Well, they already did the studies. It's just now they're just now telling the people, and what they're telling them is probably an eighth of what it really is, in my personal opinion. That radiation's been over here a long time ago from Fukushima, which blew up back in 2 years ago in 2011, or 3 years ago. I mean, that shit's been coming over here. It blows across, and I don't want to alarm everybody. It might not be in the concentration where we're going to get fried right now, but believe me, it's not good to have radiation blowing across, North America from Japan, or having it in the water. So don't eat seafood. Pretty soon it's like, any food. Because certain foods pick up that stuff out of the air. The Hopi say that the Four Corners area is one of the few areas that's going to be safe. Okay, I don't want everybody moving there because they wouldn't let you anyway, but you can go near there. And that's probably because you have the huge San Francisco peaks right there that are 12,000 feet that deflect the air up. Remember, I'm a pilot, so I know about this stuff. It deflects the air up like a big wave, okay, and goes over the top, and maybe it just goes right over the Four Corners. So if there's anything bad coming that way, maybe they knew this. And the Kachinas, the spirits of the Hopi, the ones that control everything, just like the Manitou and the Ojibwe, it's the Kachinas, but they're all the same. Okay, they just got different names for them. Or maybe they're not the same, but they're on the same level and they work together. Spirit beings, protection, nature beings, the Chippewa people, the Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, talk about the Manitous, which are the spirit trites, or whatever you want to call them, that inhabit all living things, trees, you know, ground, earth. They're there, okay? We just don't see them. They can protect us. There's protection there if you tune into that. Just like there's protection with the kachinas. So it's important to get out of the cities and get out in nature and get next to these zones, I call them. I don't know if they're a vortex. I don't really. They're more like a zone, okay, that is protected or will be protected by spiritual powers. You don't think that's possible? Think again. Because you can form a protective bubble around yourself, even though some of this stuff that's happening in this illusion, once you realize it's an illusion, you can form a protective bubble. And thunder knows how to do that, works on it, okay? And it's an ongoing, it's a work in progress. It gets stronger and sometimes it's weak and sometimes it gets, depending on your mental attitude. But you have to be taught the basic techniques of like how to protect yourself and to how to project energy. And this is what I'm trying to do with you right now, people, is teach you these concepts, techniques. And you know what? Just as a caveat here, you don't have to take anything I say as truth or good for you, or you can boop turn me off right now. But I have a feeling that you're feeling that I'm sitting here telling you the truth. 'Cause I am. What purpose would I have not to? So think about connecting up, giving of yourself, your resources, everything, just letting go. It's not like, call me up if you want to, once we contact by email, I'll talk to you on the phone. And if you have something you want to give, whether it's just yourself or whether you are more resourceful, have built up resources, okay, and realize that money isn't everything, okay, because most people I know that have money use it in the wrong way and are unhappy. They think things are going to make them happy. No, there are things that'll make you happy. Freedom. Use this money for freedom, okay? And have a lot of true friends. Why are people so blind as to what's right in front of us that we could do to help each other? Because they don't think about it. They just ramble on everyday life, man, like robots, like zombies. That's why they have all this stuff out there about the zombie apocalypse, because we are zombies and they know we love it. I'm a zombie. No, you're not a zombie. You're a spiritual person, period. That covers it all. Your spirit, you're walking around here just vibrating energy that is a depiction of you. It's almost like, you know, your energy coming through, whoop, and it's going through. And man, this is hard to explain when you're enlightened. It's a bitch being enlightened because you can't explain it. It's like trying to explain orange to a blind man, okay? And I tell people, be careful what you wish for because when you become enlightened, you see all this stuff I'm talking about that nobody understands. You know, because you're in this other zone, but there's others with us. You know, there's other star brothers and they're out there and some of them aren't even visible. Okay, now you know Thunder's really out there. I think outside the envelope and I feel outside the envelope and I feel things. Things are revealed to me. Okay? Doesn't make me special. Just means I opened up certain centers and I perceive things. Or maybe they were opened up from birth. I don't know. Maybe it was when I had that close call out in the desert with, you know, thunder and lightning. Ooh. So anyway, I'm going to end it here. Go to the, please check. I'll put the simplified, Campfire Council, and you can just go there and go anywhere. That's what I want to tell you. But I will put the other, I'll put some of the other, but I'll put Campfire Council down below in the about section at YouTube here. You can click on that, and then you can go anywhere and hook up with me, email me, donate to, not me, but our. Because see, I want to get your name. Okay, if you're interested in this, I want to get all the information about you, and so that and I want to direct you to my newsletter, and I want to make sure that you know how to interact. This isn't one of these things, where you try to get a hold of somebody on the telephone and you hear a million recordings. No, you can get through to me. But I do screen. I mean, you have to. There's all kinds of weirdos out there. Trust me. And the weirdos are usually government agents or people that think they're government agents or people that think they're patriots or people that think this and think that. There's some real, you know, nut cases out there. So I have to be careful too. This isn't a one way thing. It's two ways here. But I am making myself accessible, and I have a way of screening people and asking questions to find out whether you're real or not. You know, I mean, when you go on, like I said before, when you go on some of these channels, it's iffy. You don't know. That person that's on YouTube that has a channel or on Facebook could be a totally made up fiction, right? Half of them are. So beware of that. The bitter and the sweet, the yin and the yang. Okay, so I'm out of here. Uh, peace unto you, and until we meet again later on.